Hello, lovelies, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Omatola. If you're new here or you're just joining us for the first time, you're welcome. Please consider subscribing and remember to click on the bell notification icon. That's where you get notified every time I upload a new video, which is at least once every week. Here on this channel, I talk about my lifestyle here. I also show you vlogs relating to living in here in the UK as a Nigerian immigrant. I also talk about my job centered around healthcare, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the different types and aspects of healthcare. So, just in case you are looking to join the healthcare team, or you are already an healthcare worker and you are looking to change employers, or you want to switch from the current aspect of care that you are currently in, and you're wondering what type of care you can venture into, that's what this video is about. So this video is just going to help you make better choices with regards to where you work and to just better understand the different aspects of care, just in case you are looking to go into care and you don't know which one is better suited for you. All right, so the first aspect of care is the very common one, which is very popular. Almost everyone you talk to knows about working in a care home. Now, in this setting, you have residents or patients or clients, however you wish to call them. But in the care home setting, they're mostly referred to as residents. So residents in a care home, they could be 20, they could be 5, they could be 30, they could be 60. It's just a group of people, either elderly people or people living with terminal illnesses like dementia. It could just be a whole bunch of diagnoses, and they're just put in this particular care home. And in that kind of care home, you have a manager, you have a night manager in some cases, you have senior carers, you have matrons, you have the lead, you have the carers, and then you have nurses, and also obviously domestic staff as well. So in that kind of care home, if you are looking to get a tier 2 sponsorship, you can apply. This is the most common aspect of care, like I said, and almost everybody you talk to will refer you to a care home or a care home setting. So usually in that kind of setting, as a healthcare assistant, you are required to assist with either toileting, personal care, moving and handling. You could also be required to work day or night shifts. In some care homes, they could give you preference if you have tangible reasons, like for childcare or for because you're a student or something like that. So in some settings, they could give you preference to choose your work hours and also choose the kind of shifts you want. It could also be that your manager is understanding and they could work around your schedule. If you're also coming through an agency, this is a conversation you might want to have before you sign your contract, because a lot of them usually leave that as a gray area, so it's not it's not stipulated the kind of options or choices you have in terms of choosing your shift or work pattern. All right, so the next aspect of care we're going to talk about is called the support healthcare work, and that is an area where I currently work. Under this category, you have a bunch of options to choose from. You can either work as a mental health care assistant. I'll also explain different settings that this applies to. You can also work as a living carer. You can work as a child support care. So as a mental health care assistant, you can either work in a hospital setting, or you can work in with an agency that just gives you shifts, and they just send you out to different places requiring mental health care workers. And your job description will be to provide more of emotional support than physical support, like what you have in the care home setting. You can also work with children as a support worker for children. Obviously, for that one, your DBS will be for childcare and not adult care, as it is in mental health, or if you are to be working in a care home. Now, under mental health, there are different ways, places you can work in. You can work in a hospital setting where you are going to be placed on a psychiatric ward, and you have to provide care, emotional support, and just be there for your patients or clients, as it is usually called in a mental health care or hospital setting.
You can also work in a establishment, like a private establishment, where you have clients or patients suffering from different mental health issues, ranging from schizophrenia to most cases, some of them are psychotic, and they have different diagnoses. They could be behavioral, they could be psychotic, they could be suicidal. It's a whole range of diagnoses that you could be dealing with. They could also be pedophiles. You could also work on the recovery ward as well. So it just depends on the place that you are assigned to work, or if you have a preference, you can apply to a particular ward and just offer support and care. Now, for your job, as for your job description, you will be required to offer emotional assistance or support. You will also be required to do some level of observations, monitoring, documentation. In some cases, you might have to escort them out on ground leaves or escorted leaves, and this is usually done after you've undergone some training, because you have to be trained to know how and what to do in cases where you take a patient out and they are being aggressive, or they tend to abscond or something like that. So this usually requires some level of training, and in most establishments, like a hospital or a facility for psychotic patients, you will have to undergo some level of training, and usually this lasts for about a week upwards. It could be for 2 weeks, it could be for a month, but you are going to definitely get some training because of the level of care and the risks involved and all of that. Now, if you were to work as a living carer, this is almost self-explanatory, in the sense that you would be assigned to go to patient or client houses and stay overnight, or stay a couple of days, stay for 2 weeks, depending on whatever it is that you are assigned to do for that particular client. Now, this varies from client to client. Some need some level of personal care. So even though it is support work, you will have to do some level of personal care in terms of assisting with toileting and bathing, feeding, moving and handling in some cases. In some cases, you might not be the only staff who's going to be in the client's house. You might be with someone, you might be on your own, you might have the district nurse come out once in a while, you might also have to encounter the manager at some point. You could have unplanned visits from supervisors or the district nurses or the manager. So it's best to know and to be on your toes if you're going to be taking this kind of job. Now, for some of the living care jobs as well, you might not have to do any physical or personal care, because some of the clients that you might have are pretty much independent and they can do everything themselves. Some of them do not even need any assistance with toileting, they just don't want to be on their own, or they require assistance going to the mall, shopping, putting their things away. So you're just basically going to be offering assistance and support here and there to prepare meals. For that, you might have to go some level of training or testing. Some people who I've spoken to, who have undergone some of the training and the practical aspect of the preparation stage for living care, have said that they've had to be tested on their level of maths and English. Some of them have also been taken through training on following a menu in terms of measurement and precision, following time and recipes, just so that you get their recipes right. Some of them have to be on strict diets, so you cannot over salt or salt according to your own taste. It has to be to a particular level. For example, someone who's diabetic cannot have the normal level of salt or sugar in their food, so you have to follow a particular recipe, so something like that. So you have to be trained in that aspect as well. So some of the agencies that you'll be applying to, or some of the establishments that will take you as a living carer, will also take you through some training processes, and this should be a requirement if you are going to take such a job. the domiciliary care, or what is also known as a community care. Now, for this one, it could either be a support or a care setting, in the sense that it is mixed. For this kind of setting, and this is, in my own opinion, what I found to be the most aspect of care that is given tier 2 sponsorship right now, and most people do not fully understand this aspect of care, because it just looks like it's easy, but then you don't fully understand how your wages are going to be calculated. Some people don't even fully understand the description of the job, even though you've read through it. Some of the terms that are used might be ambiguous, and I'm just going to be breaking that down to the best of my abilities with this video. Now, for the domiciliary / community care, you will be assigned to a client's house for a couple of hours. Most of these people are independent. Most of them might be incontinent. And so in a layman's language, to be incontinent means to open up your bowels without knowing that you've opened up your bowels. So you are not in full control of your bladder, or most people who are incontinent are just unable to go to the bathroom as at when they need to. So you might need to offer assistance just in case they've had an episode, or they've had a messy situation and they need to be cleaned up. You might be sent there to do that. You might also be sent to prompt medication, which is a requirement for most of the domiciliary care workers. And you could also be sent there to shop for them. You could also be sent to prepare their meals. You can just be sent to just keep them company, check on them, and just have a nice chat for them for, like, say, an hour or so. Some it's 30 minutes, and then you are on your way to the next client. Now, if you do not have a car, or you are not mobile, or your employer is not willing to offer a vehicle to shuttle you from location to location, you might struggle with moving from one part of town to the other part of town, especially if you're relying on the buses or the trams or the trains. That's why it's usually a requirement for drivers, and that's why they require that you have a driving license, an international driving license, when you come into the country. So some of these things are listed in the job description if you care to read through. Some of them are left ambiguous. Some of them your employers or / the agency will ask you if you are a licensed driver, and if you are coming in with an international license. Some of them will ask you if you plan on having a car when you come into the country. Some of them will provide a car for you as soon as you get into the country. So it's always good to ask these questions and be absolutely sure that you understand the different aspects of care. And the reason why I'm making this video today is because not everybody can do personal care. Not everybody can work in a mental health institution where you have patients who are physically, mentally ill and can lash out and become very potentially dangerous to you as a person. And not everybody can do domiciliary care where you have to go from place to place, meaning that your 12 hours that you've worked is not fully guaranteed, because you only get paid for the number of hours that you spend in each client's home. So these are things to understand. If you have other questions regarding these different aspects of care, or if by chance I have missed out one, please let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Do well to leave your comments, feedback. I love reading your comments and also learning from you. If you've liked this video, if it's been of any help to you at all, please do well to give me a huge thumbs up. It does a lot to boost my analytics and also to get other people to see this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye, guys. Mwah.